The Edo period, spanning from 1603 to 1868, was a time of profound peace. This long era of stability allowed Japanese culture to flourish significantly. One of the most remarkable developments was in its cuisine. Cities like Edo, which is now modern-day Tokyo, grew into bustling urban centers. Osaka, known as the nation's kitchen, also became a vital hub for food. This period saw the true crystallization of what we recognize as traditional Japanese food, or the focus sharpened on the natural flavors of ingredients, their seasonality, and the elegant simplicity of presentation. These core principles, established centuries ago, continue to define Japanese cooking even in the 21st century. A unique political system called greatly influenced Edo cuisine. This system required feudal lords, to reside in Edo for alternating years. When these lords traveled, they brought with them their local culinary specialties. This constant movement of people and produce led to a rich exchange of regional flavors and cooking methods. Edo became a melting pot of diverse food traditions from all over Japan. Imagine the excitement as new tastes and ingredients arrived with each lord's procession. This helped to create a sophisticated and varied culinary landscape within the capital, setting the stage for many dishes we cherish today. The Edo period emphasized using fresh, local ingredients. This was not just a preference, but a practical necessity. Advanced food preservation and long-distance transport were not as developed. Therefore, cooks and households relied heavily on what was available in their immediate surroundings. This fostered a deep connection with the changing seasons. Menus would shift dramatically from spring to summer, and again from autumn to winter. This seasonal consciousness became a hallmark of Japanese cuisine. It taught an appreciation for the transient beauty of nature, reflected directly on the plate. It's a philosophy that promotes harmony with the environment. Furthermore, the social structure of the Edo period played a role. Different classes had access to different types of food. However, the burgeoning merchant class in cities gained economic power. They became patrons of new restaurants and food stalls. This led to the development of a sophisticated dining-out culture. Specialized restaurants focusing on a single type of dish, like eel or soba noodles, emerged. The aesthetic aspect of food also gained prominence. The way food was arranged, the choice of serving ware, and the overall dining atmosphere became integral parts of the culinary experience, a tradition that is meticulously upheld in Japan. The Edo period gifted Japan and subsequently the world with several iconic dishes. Perhaps the most famous is sushi specifically. This style, featuring a slice of fresh seafood atop a small oblong of vinegared rice, originated as a fast food in Edo. Street vendors would sell it near the bustling fish markets, offering a quick and delicious meal to busy city dwellers. The proximity to Edo Bay, teeming with fresh fish and shellfish, was crucial for its development. It was a simple concept, yet it required immense skill to prepare well. This early form of sushi was slightly larger than what we see today, and the rice was often more strongly seasoned with vinegar. Tempura, another beloved Japanese dish, also has its roots, or at least its popularization, in the Edo period. While deep frying techniques were known, tempura as we know it, lightly battered seafood and vegetables, is often linked to Portuguese influence from an earlier era. However, it was in Edo that tempura stalls became widespread. They offered crispy, freshly fried morsels that were both affordable and satisfying. The batter was a simple mix of flour and water, designed to be delicate. The key was the freshness of the ingredients and the skill in frying them to a perfect golden crispness, a technique that Edo chefs mastered and passed down through generations. Noodles, particularly soba, buckwheat, and udon, wheat, were staple foods for the common people. They were inexpensive, filling, and versatile. Soba, often associated with the Kanto region around Edo, was especially popular. It could be served cold with a dipping sauce or hot in a flavorful broth. Udon noodles, thicker and chewier, were also widely consumed. Numerous street stalls and simple eateries specialized in these noodle dishes. They provided quick, nourishing meals for laborers, merchants, and travelers alike. The sound of slurping noodles became a familiar part of the city's soundscape. Beyond these, Freshwater eel dishes like grilled eel glazed with a sweet and savory sauce were highly prized. Eel was believed to provide stamina, making it particularly popular during the hot summer months. The preparation of unagi was an art form, with chefs often specializing exclusively in eel. The vibrant street food culture of Edo was truly remarkable. Or food stalls lined the streets, offering an incredible variety of quick bites. This accessibility and diversity of food played a massive role in shaping the culinary habits of the Japanese people. It made dining out a common and enjoyable part of daily life for many. The Meiji Restoration in 1868 marked a dramatic turning point in Japanese history. It ended over 2 centuries of the policy of national isolation. The new government under Emperor Meiji embarked on a rapid program of modernization. This ambition extended to all aspects of life, including the nation's diet. The long-standing official prescription against consuming meat from 4-legged animals began to erode. This was a significant cultural shift, as Buddhist beliefs had discouraged meat eating for centuries. The government actively promoted meat consumption, believing it would improve the physique and strength of the Japanese people, aligning them with Westerners. This opening to the world brought a flood of new influences. Foreign traders, diplomats, and experts arrived in Japan, bringing their own culinary customs. Ports like Yokohama, Kobe, and Nagasaki became gateways for these new foods and ideas. Western ingredients such as beef, pork, dairy products, milk, butter, cheese, bread, and coffee started to appear. Initially, these were novelties, consumed mainly by foreigners and a small segment of the Japanese elite. However, their availability gradually increased. The emperor himself publicly consumed beef in 1872, a powerful endorsement that helped to popularize its acceptance among the general populace. The Meiji government saw Westernization, including dietary changes, as a path to national strength. They believed that adopting Western habits would help Japan catch up with the industrialized nations of Europe and America. Cookbooks featuring Western recipes, often adapted for Japanese palates, began to be published. These books introduced new cooking methods like baking and frying with butter or lard. Restaurants serving Western-style food, known as, started to open in major cities. These establishments catered initially to foreigners, but soon attracted curious Japanese diners eager to experience these exotic tastes. Dining etiquette also began to change. The traditional Japanese way of eating, seated on tatami mats at low tables, started to be supplemented by Western-style tables and chairs, especially in public and official settings. The use of knives and forks, while not replacing chopsticks, became known. This period was characterized by a spirit of eager experimentation and adaptation. While traditional Japanese cuisine remained the foundation of the national diet, the seeds of a new hybrid food culture were sown. This era laid the groundwork for the diverse and dynamic culinary landscape that Japan enjoys today, blending its ancient traditions with global influences. Section 5. Welcoming the West early influences on Meiji tables. The culinary fusion that began in the Meiji period gave rise to a category of dishes known as. These were essentially Western dishes adapted to suit Japanese tastes and available ingredients. Quickly became popular because it offered new flavors while still being somewhat familiar. One early favorite was derived from the French croquette, typically made with mashed potatoes mixed with ground meat or vegetables, coated in breadcrumbs, and deep-fried. Korokke became a beloved home-style dish and a common item in lunchboxes. It was comforting, affordable, and easy to make. Another iconic dish that emerged was or cutlet. This was inspired by European schnitzel or cutlets. Initially, beef was often used, but pork cutlets eventually became the most popular version. The meat was breaded with panko and deep-fried to a golden crisp, then typically served with shredded cabbage, rice, and a thick, sweet savory sauce, similar to Worcestershire sauce. This dish perfectly exemplified the adaptation process, a Western concept transformed into something uniquely Japanese. It offered a hearty and satisfying meal, appealing to the growing appetite for meat. Perhaps one of the most enduring and widespread dishes is or curry rice. Curry was introduced to Japan via the British, who had adopted it from India. The Japanese version, however, evolved into a distinct style. It is typically milder and sweeter than Indian curries, with a thick stew-like consistency. It's often made with beef, chicken or pork, along with potatoes, carrots and onions, and served over steamed white rice. Curry rice became a comfort food, widely eaten in homes, cafeterias, and specialized curry restaurants. Its easy preparation and satisfying flavor made it a national favorite. The port cities were instrumental in this culinary exchange. Yokohama, for instance, had a large foreign settlement, and its restaurants were among the first to offer Western dishes. These establishments also trained Japanese chefs, who then went on to open their own restaurants or incorporate Western techniques into their cooking. Early Japanese cookbooks from the Meiji era often featured simplified or modified Western recipes, making them accessible to home cooks. This period of enthusiastic adoption and clever adaptation significantly broadened Japan's culinary horizons, creating a new layer of food culture that coexisted alongside traditional practices. It was a time of exciting discovery for Japanese palates. Section 6. Post-war palates, further Westernization and global exchange. The period following World War II brought another wave of significant changes to Japanese cuisine. The American occupation from 1945 to 1952 had a profound impact on the daily lives and dietary habits of the Japanese people. Food shortages were severe in the immediate post-war years. Aid from the United States often included items like wheat flour, powdered milk, and canned goods. This led to an increased consumption of bread, which began to rival rice as a staple for some, particularly in school lunch programs that were established to improve children's nutrition. These programs often featured bread and milk, new to many young Japanese. The economic recovery and subsequent boom in the decades that followed fueled further dietary Westernization. As incomes rose, so did the demand for a wider variety of foods. Meat, dairy products, and oils became more affordable and accessible. This led to a general increase in protein and fat intake. Fast food also made its debut, with American chains like McDonald's and Kentucky Fried Chicken opening in Japan in the 1970s. These were initially seen as trendy and modern, especially among the youth. This era also saw the invention and popularization of instant noodles by Momofuku Ando in 1958, a revolutionary product that offered convenience and affordability. Family restaurants, known as, became widespread during this time. These establishments offered a diverse menu that typically included favorites, Japanese dishes, and sometimes Chinese or other international options. They provided a casual and affordable dining experience for families, contributing to the normalization of eating out. The availability of processed foods and prepackaged meals also increased, reflecting changing lifestyles, with more women entering the workforce and less time available for traditional food preparation. The Japanese kitchen itself began to change, with more homes adopting Western-style appliances and layouts. Despite this influx of Western and global influences, traditional Japanese cuisine did not disappear. Instead, it continued to evolve alongside these new trends. Interestingly, it was also during the post-war period that Japanese cuisine began to gain significant international recognition. Chefs who had trained in traditional methods started to travel abroad, and Japanese immigrants established restaurants in other countries. Sushi, tempura, and sukiyaki gradually became known and appreciated globally. This growing international acclaim also fostered a renewed sense of pride in Japan's own culinary heritage, even as the nation eagerly embraced new tastes from around the world. Section 7. The Global Kitchen, Modern Japanese Cuisine, Today. In contemporary Japan, the culinary scene is a vibrant tapestry woven from deep-rooted traditions and dynamic global influences. Traditional Japanese cuisine received a significant honor in 2013 when it was recognized by UNESCO as an intangible cultural heritage of humanity. This recognition highlighted its cultural importance, its emphasis on seasonality, balance, and respect for nature. Core tenets like the Rule of Five, Incorporating 5 colors, 5 flavors, and 5 senses into a meal continue to guide thoughtful food preparation. The concept of the fifth taste, first identified by a Japanese scientist, remains central to achieving depth and satisfaction in Japanese dishes. The global popularity of Japanese food has reached unprecedented heights. Sushi restaurants are ubiquitous in cities worldwide. Ramen, once a simple noodle soup, has transformed into a gourmet obsession, with chefs experimenting endlessly with broths, toppings, and noodle textures. Tempura's delicate crispness is admired internationally. This global embrace has, in turn, influenced Japan. Japanese chefs are more aware of international trends and palates. Some engage in reverse importation, where Japanese dishes that became popular abroad are reintroduced to Japan with new twists, sometimes creating exciting fusion experiences. Regional specialties, are also gaining wider appreciation both within Japan and internationally. Previously, many of these dishes were known only in their specific localities. Now, thanks to increased travel, media exposure, and a growing interest in authentic food experiences, dishes from Hokkaido in the north to Okinawa in the south are celebrated. This includes unique ramen styles from different prefectures, distinctive seafood preparations, and locally grown vegetables and fruits. Food tourism has become a significant draw, with visitors eager to explore the diverse culinary landscapes of Japan's various regions. Modern Japanese cuisine is also characterized by a keen awareness of health and wellness. The traditional Japanese diet, rich in fish, vegetables, soy products, and seaweed, and relatively low in red meat and dairy, has long been associated with longevity. This health aspect is increasingly emphasized. There's a growing movement towards organic ingredients, plant-based options, and mindful eating. While convenience foods and Western-style fast food remain part of the landscape, there is a strong countercurrent that values wholesome, thoughtfully prepared meals. This balance between convenience and quality, tradition and modernity, defines Japan's contemporary food scene. Section 8. Innovation Meets Heritage, the Art of Contemporary Washoku. Today's Japanese chefs are masters of balancing deep respect for tradition with a spirit of bold innovation. Many train for years to perfect the fundamental techniques and philosophies of. Once this foundation is firmly established, they often feel empowered to explore new culinary territories. This doesn't mean abandoning tradition, but rather reinterpreting it for a contemporary audience. They might take a classic dish and present it in a novel way, or incorporate an unexpected ingredient that complements the traditional flavor profile. This thoughtful evolution keeps Japanese cuisine dynamic and exciting, preventing it from becoming static. The use of new ingredients alongside time-honored ones is a key feature of modern. While traditional recipes emphasized locally sourced, seasonal Japanese produce, contemporary chefs may incorporate high-quality international ingredients. Foie gras might appear in a shawanmushi, or truffles might subtly perfume a dashi-based sauce. However, this is usually done with great care and restraint, ensuring that the new element enhances rather than overwhelms the essential Japanese character of the dish. The goal is to create a harmonious blend, a new expression that still resonates with the core principles of balance and seasonality intrinsic to sustainability and local sourcing, encapsulated in the concept of local production for local consumption, have become increasingly important. This resonates with the traditional emphasis on seasonality and freshness. Chefs are forging closer relationships with farmers, fishermen, and artisans. They prioritize using ingredients that are not only of the highest quality, but also produced in an environmentally responsible manner. This commitment extends beyond just the food itself to include aspects like reducing food waste and using sustainable tableware. This ethical approach adds another layer of depth and meaning to the dining experience in modern Japan. High-end Japanese cuisine has also seen influences from global culinary movements like molecular gastronomy. Some avant-garde chefs experiment with textures, temperatures, and presentations using scientific techniques. They might create foams, gels, or powders to offer surprising sensory experiences. However, even in these highly innovative contexts, the underlying philosophy often remains rooted in Japanese aesthetics and respect for ingredients. The visual appeal of food, or the art of food presentation, remains paramount. Every dish is composed like a work of art, engaging not just the palate but also the eyes and the spirit, ensuring that heritage and innovation dance together on the plate. Section 9. The Enduring Spirit: Japan's Culinary Legacy and Future. The journey of Japanese cuisine from the foundational developments of the Edo period to the globalized innovations of today is a testament to its resilience and adaptability. The respect for tradition serves not as a rigid constraint, but as a rich wellspring of inspiration for contemporary chefs and home cooks alike. This deep reverence for the past ensures that the core principles of seasonality, balance, natural flavors, and aesthetic presentation continue to guide its evolution. It is this enduring spirit that allows Japanese food to remain authentic even as it embraces change and new influences from around the world. The ongoing evolution of Japanese food is a dynamic process. It reflects changes in society, technology, and global interconnectedness. Yet it consistently demonstrates an ability to absorb and reinterpret external influences in a way that is uniquely Japanese. Think of how ramen, originally Chinese, or tempura, with its Portuguese links, have become quintessentially Japanese. This capacity for thoughtful adaptation ensures that the cuisine remains relevant and exciting for new generations. The future will undoubtedly bring new ingredients, techniques, and ideas, but the fundamental respect for the craft will likely persist. The importance of passing down culinary knowledge is deeply ingrained in Japanese culture. This occurs formally through rigorous apprenticeships for professional chefs and informally within families, where recipes and techniques are taught from one generation to the next. This transmission of knowledge is crucial for preserving the heritage of. It ensures that the skills developed over centuries are not lost, and that the cultural significance of food continues to be understood and appreciated. Food in Japan is more than mere sustenance. It is a carrier of history, identity, and communal values, connecting people to their past and to each other. Ultimately, Japanese cuisine thrives because it successfully coexists with both tradition and innovation. It looks back with respect and forward with curiosity. The meticulous attention to detail, the pursuit of perfection in simplicity, and the profound connection to nature are timeless qualities that will continue to define it. As Japan navigates the future, its culinary landscape will undoubtedly continue to shift and surprise. Yet, the heart of Japanese cooking, its dedication to quality, its artistry, and its ability to delight the senses while nourishing the body and soul, will surely endure, captivating palates both at home and across the globe for generations to come.